Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your host, Daniel, and joining me, as always, are my two good buddies, Darren and Philip. Guys, how is everything going this week? Let's see, Star Trek, nothing new came out except for what we're going to talk about this week. But is there anything old going on? I know, Philip, you've been doing some old stuff.
Yes, I finished my Season 1 Star Trek The Next Generation rewatch. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it. Season
Feels
1,
like the show has legs. Might go somewhere. We'll see.
I mean, no Kirk and Spock, but what are you going to do? But no, I really enjoy it. And I mean, I will always say this for folks. I think, you know, it has a bad rap, but I think, you know, what, 24 episodes, 22, I can't remember. But like, yeah, of course, there's going to be a ratio of good to bad, but that's the same with every season. I think if you look at that ratio, Season 1 is not going to be the worst ratio of all the seasons, I would argue. So, but yeah, so it was good. And I think there's one or two things, because it's, you know, Season 1's its own podcast episode. I feel bad for Yar, because like, it's not Denise's fault. And when you watch all of Season 1, you're like, yeah, they gave her nothing. Nothing. Like she has one episode.
The cast was kind of too big to start off with.
Which, you know. But like, there's no Yar episode. There's no Yar moments. I mean, Geordi's taking command. Worf's going on a away team. You know, but like, zero. They gave her zero. And so I do feel bad for her. So.
Well, don't worry, she'll come back as several characters later on. And,
we worry, Daniel. Yeah. For me, we've been going through Roland Emmerich's directed works on House Lights, and so we just did Stargate, which is one of my favorite films. But bringing it back to Trek, I learned that my co-host Tristan Riddell actually has not watched any of SG-1. When he was young, his family tried to watch the pilot. And yeah, I'm not surprised that they kind of got turned off from the series, because it is like a heavy PG-13. Like, it's, I don't know why. They put some stuff in it that really didn't need to be there. But anyway, he has shown his interest in dabbling into the series. And so I concocted a 50, 60-ish episode kind of best of main plot points for like the first 8 episodes for the first 8 seasons. Kind of said, you kind of need to watch this one. This one, you know, it's like pretty much watch all the season finales and season premieres. Like, that'll cover the majority of the cool new stuff. And anyway, bringing it back to Trek though, is as I was going through it, because Tristan is a big Star Trek fan, I was like, and highlighting, well, this one has, you know, I think we started with Armin Sherman in like a Season 1, Episode 5, and then we had, you have, and all that to say, it was fun pointing out all the different Trek actors. You have Marina Sirtis, you have John Delancey. You know, there's a lot of Trek that ended up on Stargate, because Stargate is also a very Trek-ish show. It's early 2000s. It has a lot of, you know, I would say like, this is kind of like this episode of Star Trek, but with different people, you know. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. There was like the clip episode, and I'm like, this is a clip show like Shades of Grey, but you might actually want to watch it because you haven't watched a lot of this season because you've been picking and choosing. So it's going to kind of fill in some gaps if you do. So I never thought that a clip show could be a benefit, but if you're just skimming, it actually is a good way of kind of catching up to where we've been. So that was fun to prepare that list.
So you say the pilot is like older in town. Like, what was that? I can't remember what the movie was rated.
The movie,
I remember seeing it in theaters at the time.
I've seen it.
It had to have been PG-13, probably.
Small memories of it, yeah.
It wasn't R.
What? No, it wasn't R. If anything, it was PG-13.
I remember being a little scared as like a little kid, but I don't know why.
I think because remember Stargate was on cable. So they're
PG-13.
Yeah. Okay, PG-13 for the movie. Yeah. It's not much, but they have a couple scenes in the pilot, Children of the Gods, where it's like not family appropriate. And so that was enough to turn it off back in the day, which I totally get. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully he enjoys my list, but it's fun, just like with Babylon 5 or any other sci-fi that's kind of this monolithic series, getting to experience it through fresh eyes of someone of our generation is rare. That someone, that likes sci-fi has missed a complete entire chapter and series. So it should be fun.
So when are you going to do the primer for the other 3 live action shows? I can't remember how many Stargates have there been?
There were 3. There was Atlantis and then Universe. Well, I mean, Universe is only 2 seasons and Atlantis was like 5 or 6, I think, maybe a little more. I haven't even watched all of Atlantis. I didn't really get into it as much. But I think first step would be primer for the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons really of 8, 9, and 10. Those are the Cameron Mitchell, where it goes very, or Ben Bowden, I guess I should say, where the main cast is like 50% Farscape people. But yeah, it's still, I love Stargate. I think it's a great show. If you like TNG, you'll pretty much like Stargate. It's very, very similar in ways. But he probably enjoyed my favorite part of the list was there's about maybe 7 or 8 episodes where I don't even put, because I put like little tidbits on them, like, oh, hey, this has so-and-so. And like, I also put the episode description, but I put like my kind of 2-second notes. But there's 8 or so episodes where I didn't put any notes. I just put banger of an episode. Don't miss this. If you watch anything else but this, like watch this. So those ones are highly recommended.
Well, there's Stargate for you. You know what? I did get a little bit of Trek injected into my eye veins because I've mentioned them before, but Red Letter Media, big guys on YouTube, really funny stuff, but it's definitely adult humor. So only go there if you're of age. But anyways, they one of the guys that runs that is very, very big into Star Trek, and because they're very successful, it's allowed him to sort of buy a bunch of props from Star Trek, and they like to restore them and then keep them in displays and stuff like that. Well, he purchased the mold for the salt monster, the salt vampire monster from TOS, and they sort of made their own salt monster mask, and it was kind of cool just to see it and stuff like that, because I guess it had transferred to a private collector, after the original series had aired. And he had held on to it for a long time, until he died, and it was in estate sale. So they were able to get a hold of it, and that was fun. It was fun to see that. But that's the only Star Trek that's been in my veins, other than this week's topic. That, my friends, is called a segue, and we're going to be talking about Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3, called Into the Breach Part 1 and 2, and Who Saves the Saviors. See what they did there? That's a Who Watches the Watchers thing there. Anyways, so let's talk about it. So I just watched this yesterday. I think we all just sort of kind of watched it real recently. So we'll just do like a general overview real quick about what did you think of these 3 episodes, the beginning of Season 2, and we'll start with you, Philip. What are your impressions so far?
Well, I mean, good and done. No, when I feel bad that I didn't watch like July 1st when it dropped, but I was like, I have a life, but I also want to support Star Trek. So I'm like, everyone just played on Netflix over and over because I want Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek to survive. But I did anyway. So I finally got around to the first episode. And then when you talked about it, I was like, well, I mean, I think the first one's a 2-parter. So let me at least watch that. And then one more to get the flavor. But long story short, not in a bad way, but I was a little thrown off on where the characters were and how they got split up initially. But then I was like stressed the F out in those last 2 episodes, like in a good way, I suppose. But like there was so much twist of like, what what? Like you have, without getting to everything we'll get into, but I'm like, it is not looking good for anyone by the end of episode 3. And I'm like, what the hell? Is this a kid's show? But anyway, so that's where I am. I'm enjoying it, but I'm like heart palpitations, edge of seat so far.
Yeah. Oh, I should also mention, just since you brought it up, spoilers definitely for the first 3 episodes here. From here on out, we're going to be talking about everything. So I'm sure a lot of the listeners have watched the whole season, as many people already have. But we are only going to be talking about the first 3 episodes. So I could definitely see what you're saying there, Philip. What about you, Darren? You feel the same way? Heart palpitations and all, or what? There's a doctor I can recommend.
There is. There's a holographic doctor. No, I liked the doctor showing up. I felt, Rob Picardo and the writers nailed him, his personality again, where he's kind of a bit of a jerk for like the first 10 seconds you meet him. You're like, oh, okay, this is okay. And then you're like, no, okay, he is kind of filling that hologram Janeway void, because real Janeway's there, but surprise, she's actually an admiral and actually has duties and actually has things to do.
We'll get into that. We will talk about that.
We will, but I think, I like, there's a lot going on for our heroes, but that's just good storytelling where things go well and then things go bad and then things go well again and then things go bad. Like that is how it goes. Although it is interesting because it is following that, Saturday morning cartoon, weekday cartoon kind of vibe of like, oh, tune in next week to find out what happens. But I'm like, but we don't have to. It's all dropped at the same time. So it's kind of odd that it's constructed that way when it doesn't need to be viewed that way. But I think they're also taking a good advantage of the fact that, yes, quote unquote, season 1 was 20 episodes in 2 massively spread apart chunks, but this one is a full 20 right off the bat. And so I think they are pacing it well, because at first I was like, wait, is this a 10 episode season? Because there's a lot that we've just unpacked and it's been 3 episodes, which is like a third of the season. I'm like, oh no, we got 20, we're good, we got plenty of time, because we're bringing on was it Delta Squad members, and I'm like, we don't have time for new members. Nova Squad. I'm like, we don't have time for new members. We got 5 characters we got to do more with. And then I'm like, oh, Rock didn't even end up on the ship. What's going on? Yeah, and Murph.
Have to Google who's the voice of the Vulcan is, because I'm like, do I need to know who this is? Because is this like the character now?
Also, not to rag on Chakotay a little bit, but I'm like, dude, okay, like, you got to be smarter than this. These are obviously Starfleet person. Like, it's so obvious that they are. Like, they have a tricorder in the end, and I'm like, dude,
I think he was just playing dumb at that point.
I think he kind of was, yeah. and Birdman.
Okay.
I did like all of Jenkin Pod's bird puns. They were hilarious. Like there's so many, and
we're just going to jump right in since you brought up the bird pun thing, and I was thinking, in a way, it's probably racist, right? Like you can't just make bird jokes the whole time.
I'm not actually a bird. I'm a totally different species that happens to look like an Earth bird.
I'm an avian species.
Yeah.
Did they give that guy a name? I think they did.
They did.
Interesting to see if we're going to see bird guy in the future. But I'm going to back it up. Okay, let's talk about. We'll just start in the beginning. We'll talk about episode 1. I will say I was very annoyed in the first episode, like a lot. First of all, one thing I like keep encountering now is like the kid characters show up on the screen, and I'm like, I want to push them out of the way and be like, what's going? Yeah. Show Janeway.
What's going on? Real Starfleet going on? Yeah,
I want to walk around the Voyager. Like I don't. Yeah.
Why am I not seeing the bridge? Because the kids can't see the bridge, but I want to see the bridge.
So it felt like I complained a little bit about in Lower Decks when there was a formula. Like it was always Mariner mad at her mom, and they always had issues. It was always this thing, and then she would learn a lesson and whatever. Okay, with Prodigy, season 1 felt like, oh, they're shoving these relationships into some sort of a crew, even if they don't fit, because that's sort of like that's the theme. Like the theme is
found
like,
family, that stuff.
Well, found family's fine, but like they like really want Dahl to be captain, and they really want Roktak to be engineering. Look, that's cool, but like the captain thing makes no sense. Like he won't even read a book, and it's like, you're really annoying me, kid.
He needs to move past the I hate school, but I want to be the captain. I should just be the captain. Like that's a maturity thing, and I get it. Like he has some good lines where he's like, "Remember, we used to be on the bridge, like it was our own ship, and we could do it at one." And I'm like, "That's true." But you also like got in major trouble like every week. Like, do you not remember that part of it? That happened as well.
That
But
was
it
the
wasn't
good
their
part.
ship. They stole it. It wasn't their ship. That's not their ship. That's not how this works. And okay, so this is what I was thinking. That when that scene comes up, and he says, "I don't want to read. I want to be on the bridge," and I'm like, okay, he better not be right when this scenario comes to an end. He better not be right about this, because what are you trying to teach kids here? Like, you can just sort of just skip all your responsibilities of learning and just go straight to the top? No.
Wait,
he should be
Daniel,
wrong.
you mean you can be like some second-year slack-off cadet that's suddenly given captain of the Enterprise? That'd be crazy.
He was a
lesson,
genius. Right? He was a genius slack-off cadet. So that's why. He cheated. So he definitely deserved that seat. So I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, I was just slightly annoyed at the whole, like, why does he watch? I wanted Janeway to like give him a lecture, like really lecture.
Yeah, I think it'll get there. I think it will. Like, I can't see them sticking him as now you get the Enterprise A or the Voyager-A. I'm like, no. There's going to be a moment where
they'll
he's
rechristen
like,
the Voyager-A as
but no, there'll be a moment where he's over his head and he's like, and then he'll be. I think I would like to see him maybe partner mentor with one of the other, top officers. Like, because I mean, he has a connection with Janeway, but he can't always be working with Janeway. And so, yeah, have a moment where it's like, well, yeah, I went through, the officers, like I went through 20 years of schooling to be a commander on this giant ship. Like, yeah, like that's what it takes. But
he wants it now. He wants it now.
I know.
But it is very kid, though. I mean, it's not even a little kid. That's even teenager.
Sure, for sure. I get that. But also, like, he can't.
Gives him room to grow, and I think he'll get there.
Okay, so, like, for example, let's just talk about the main characters, the characters that, the kid characters. Because, like, both Jankum Pog and Rock Talk have moved forward a little bit.
Yeah,
they
they're
have
maturing,
their motivation,
assimilating.
Yeah, they're both trying and succeeding and thriving. Especially Rock Talk. Like I love the fact that she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to be involved in this shenanigans,
rule breaking.
That was great.
Or worse, we'll get expelled.
Yeah, she's the Hermione of the group. We all see it.
And they all were, they all have their little niche. I like that. I thought that was cool. I like that little carryover with all
apparently
the characters
cured Tribbles. Actually,
yeah, which is whatever. That's so silly, but okay.
But they kind of did it in a hand wave way as she's running out the door, and it's just like, whatever. We get it. She's smart.
Well, I think it was, to me as a Star Trek diehard nerd, jarring, not in a bad way, but it was a little jarring in that first episode that you're talking about, Daniel, because all the other characters are like, Starfleet is cool, and Dal is like, duh, this is for nerds. And I'm like, yeah, that's the show, buddy. But
right.
It is as if, and I know this, you two may find this jarring, but it's like he's a Star Wars character in Star Trek.
I was kind of thinking that when you just said that. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have like Jankum Pog, who's also maturing. It is funny how like it is kind of weird when he's like, he'll say the thing he's not supposed to say, but then kind of rephrase it. But you still already said the thing you're not supposed to say, but it kind of works.
He's being polite.
He has kids moving to a new town energy. Like, okay. All the other kids at the other school thought I was a nerd. So this is reinvent. I can reinvent who I am.
Thought I wasn't a nerd. Now I'm going to invent myself as a nerd.
But like we all know, he'll slip up and go back to it. And he,
Yeah. No, and it's Zero. I like how Zero is like
that little storyline's been introduced.
And pairing her with the Doctor is really cool. Like that's very smart.
She's supposed to be old, though. Am I wrong about that? Do I remember her being like hundreds of years old or something?
That's something maybe like that. I mean, she's more. They are definitely not like a teenager or anything.
Yeah, sorry.
You're right. But they're also
Because-
naive because they haven't been in the world, so they have that naivete of childhood.
They were on that planet and then got whisked up, and then
Murph is just Murph. Like Murph's a constant as the Northern Star. Like just wanting to do what
I
they
do like
want
the
to do.
Grudge energy, though. Like, oh, look
It
at this
is
cute
kinda
character
Groot,
that can,
yeah.
kill probably everyone given half a chance. So,
Yeah, and they had the classic like, oh no, the melty thing is going to drip, and then the people below will see, and they'll know we're here. Like that's just, it's so done.
hey,
but
it's new to the
it
kids. Everything is new to the kids.
works. Yeah.
That's just part Murph.
Now, I will ask this, guys. I was a little slightly confused, but maybe I wasn't paying attention to the last 30 seconds of season 1. They're not in the academy. They're in like the pre-academy.
Yeah, it was
And that threw me
it was
off.
not
They're like
clear.
they're like stewards of the state, which is kind of weird.
They're like
they're
high
not.
They wear
school.
uniforms,
Yeah.
and like yeah, it is weird.
They have no
It's
pips.
It's not clear because she's like, well, what if you go on this mission? Then you'll definitely get into into the Starfleet Academy, and it's like, well, what have they been doing then? Like they just been
Yeah, I don't remember the end of season 1, so I don't remember where they left off. Or I think there has been a time jump anyway, so it doesn't really even matter.
I don't think it's long, right? Because she's still on the way to the planet.
Yeah.
Right, but but her planet is really far away.
Yeah.
When you don't take the protostar, which we destroyed.
Or
Also confused me. Not saying. I needed to really get introduced to it because I thought in the first episode, like you just see her for like over subspace or whatever, and then in episode 2, she's in a Starfleet runabout or something, whatever, with the Starfleet pilot. I'm like, wait, why is that? I thought she was just by herself, and so that threw me off for a second. So
we don't need to know that character's name because they are dead.
yeah, but again,
I feel
kid
like I
show.
need to rewatch at least the last bit of season 1 because I didn't remember the evil girl, whatever her name was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember her at all.
Why do we know who this is? Like, was she established beforehand? Because I don't know who she is. But
Oh,
So I just
yeah.
read it. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Phil,
Evil
if you
Girl was
remember.
the one who was pretending to be an ensign, and then was wearing the disguise on Janeway's ship. And
Oh,
actually,
yeah, okay, I remember.
that's right. That's right.
remember.
Okay.
Jamil. I'm saying her name.
I
It's voiced
need to rewatch the last bit of season 1. I've forgotten much, but
Well,
She was also a time traveler, like the Divine.
With her storyline, what is the character? Gwen storyline?
Gwen,
yeah.
With her storyline, I remember almost nothing. Like, her father is now just a tinkerer, and I remember the magic.
Taylor.
her father's dead in the one that traveled back
The
in
current
time. But
time.
Prime time.
Well, now time's all mucked up. We can't
Yeah.
really say the current time and the
Yeah, that's true.
future
That's
time.
true.
Now we don't know what's going on, and it's
at
gonna be
least the times are synced. Like the whole an hour
that's
passes here, an hour
interesting, little
passes
cheat,
there.
yeah.
I'm like that's nice because otherwise that could be really hard. But I do love that we get more Diviner because I love John Noble's voice. He's so good, and I'm just like, oh yeah, more.
What was he? Fringe, Warehouse 9?
Yeah,
something.
Fringe. He's been in a lot of things. Yeah,
I did think it was like, and I mean, I'm not complaining.
Lord of the
but
Rings.
It was a nice cheat of like, how can we keep the season 1 cast for people who clearly like died or something? I'm like, time travel, whatever.
Yep.
Just the versions. Okay, done.
And we don't even know what the third versions are because presumably everybody's going to have a third weird alternate universe version, which is what we're going to see here in the upcoming episodes. Presumably, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but it'd be surprising if they didn't go like, oh, now Chakotay is captain of the Empire or something, whatever they do.
Quick question before we get into nitty gritty, because this is a broad question. Were you surprised that the titles were the same? Because there's
I was a little surprised,
no longer
yeah.
a ship, Protostar. I mean, so it's like it's still the same Protostar
I'd have to
opening.
check it because it felt like it was faster. Like I felt like the season 1 was more drawn out and more like slowly building, and this
Does
was
it have like
okay.
a lick guitar? Do.
Yeah, well, it felt like it felt quicker, but I mean, again, that's the intro, so Star Trek doesn't. I mean, I know Discovery's
Lower
changed
Decks.
theirs and Lower Decks. Well, Lower Decks makes a tiny
Picard,
change, but
all of them.
yeah,
Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but we do have a Picard quota now. We're going to get a Picard name drop every episode.
Yeah.
It looks like. So,
And it is like it's both cool and weird to be in this timeline. to be, which is
right, 'cause
theoretically
they're
where Lower
evacuating
Decks is.
Romulus.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's a few years, I think, after Lower Decks, but still, it's weird to be in this timeline.
Yeah. So they're aware of what's going on with Romulus, but they're not.
Yeah, episode 14 is called Cracked Mirror. So I think that's the mirror one, guys. I think that's it. Just
Honestly, I think they could do it good. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
They can't, though, because here's the thing. You always have to have somebody, like, slap someone in a very, let's just say, suggestive, aggressive way, right? Or cut them and, like, it's a kid's show. You can't do that sort of stuff.
They blew up the pilot in episode 2.
I understand.
you didn't see it, though. You heard it.
And then and Gwen is doing Marty McFly fading in the photo in episode 3. So, I mean, she was like, I knew she wasn't going to but like she was falling. I'm like, okay.
Well, it is interesting, though, because with the time travel, like we are kind of seeing a predestination where because that other girl came back, it's basically going to cause the Civil War she's not trying to prevent the Civil War. She's trying to make sure her side wins the Civil War, which I'm assuming is the xenophobic side.
Is it clear to you why she was fading, but not any of the other characters were fading?
Because she was only... Because
we didn't see the other characters after that moment. I don't.
Well, which other character? Because she's the only one who's as a result of that timeline. Because as the evil girl pointed out, she's there. Like there's her younger version. Gwendolyn only exists because the Diviner went back in time and cloned himself.
But so theoretically, like you're right, Daniel. Like Rock-Talk should disappear because Rock-Talk was never rescued from the mining planet.
None of them were. They would have all been.
But they all exist as people,
right? But as Philip says, though. It's still, I think time is still rippling. Like we haven't seen exactly what it's doing, but I think it's a mix of, like you're both right. But Philip is saying, Gwendolyn literally didn't exist because of the time changes, whereas the others existed. They just weren't saved. So
yeah, but Janeway made it clear, right? Like when they did their little exposition PowerPoint.
Did you read Temporal Mechanics?
Did you
101?
read?
It turns out only one character has not read Temporal Mechanics 101, which is great. That's a great little running bit.
It felt like the part with Smart Hulk where he's like, "The past is the past, and your future is your future." I'm like, "What? Okay, sure."
But that's the end. So, before we really dive into that, let's go back to the beginning. I want to talk about the Voyager of it all, and dive into that because we do get to see some pretty major sort of canon things happening here, right? We get to see, they mentioned that the Voyager is a museum piece at this point.
A museum,
right? Which we saw in Lower Decks happen.
We get a full-on nerdy sort of. Like checklist sheet of the features of the Voyager-A. We learn its class, its capabilities, its complemented.
Which is that name specific? Because the class, it's got to be some sort of like producer.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, presumably. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. We haven't seen anything else like that, but it looks just like the Intrepid class.
2 R's.
Which is see, this is again. We've talked about this. This is not a specific complaint about this show, but it's a complaint about Star Trek in general when they do add numbers and letters and stuff at the end. Like when the Enterprise does it, it changes class and so therefore changes shape and looks different. Well, here they just wanted to make another Voyager, so they just made something that looked a lot like the Intrepid class and called it something else. Not a huge deal. Not a big deal. I know this is not a. Just a Star Trek problem.
Yeah, it's obviously not an. It's obviously not Intrepid. It's huge.
Right. It's just
named after Hedy Lamarr, which is half funny to me because I just know her as an actress, but I think that's what the zeitgeist knows her as. I mean, as an old timey. This is like 30s, 40s. But she actually is also an inventor, which I think is less known about her. And I think that's what. So
did she invent like time travel?
No, I knew of Hedy. Like she's she's a legitimate. Well, no, she's like an A-list actress.
Yeah, it'd be like.
But
interesting.
What did she?
But the science is not necessarily as much talked about as.
Gotcha. Just as a quick aside on this specific ship note, I was just reading an interview that somebody had with the showrunner, and they mentioned that the plan originally was to have Janeway captained the Enterprise at this point, which I guess Kate herself said she would rather it have been Voyager. So that's why they made the next Voyager, which is kind of an interesting thing. I wonder why maybe she has like a little bit of ownership over that, but I just thought that was interesting to have because we don't know who would be captaining the Enterprise at that point. So why not Janeway?
Yeah. Yeah. And I one part of me thought the ship is too big because like when they were listing all the things, I'm like, that's too much. That's too much.
Yep.
But, like, what is it like
35 holodecks?
I know.
Something?
And I was like, guys, bigger's
schools.
not always better. I mean, considering the first Voyager was like bigger
big.
than the runabout, you know, I mean, it was bigger than that, but you know what I'm talking about.
So Heidi Lamar did stuff in frequency hopping spectrum work. So yeah, so it's like radio frequencies and other frequencies. So it kind of fits with like a time travel-y type of ship. And
Sure.
but yeah, no, I thought it was one of those like, you know,
Livingston
Ross
or
class
something.
is named after, you know, producer or, you know, more of a, not a real person, but a real person that's making a TV show kind of thing. But
And it is, I don't argue with it, but it does sound interesting to hear like, oh, I'm Admiral Janeway of, you know, the USS Voyager. And in your mind, you're like Voyager-A. Like, I mean, there's no reason you just shouldn't call it the Voyager, but it is like, just as
Right.
like in your bag, you're like Voyager-A.
yeah, Picard's like, I am the captain of the Enterprise D. You know,
Yeah,
he doesn't like add it
Yeah.
on to the end.
Well, he doesn't always say it. Like, you know, it depends on the situation, I think.
Well,
Like,
yes,
Because
if
I
there's
think the
another Enterprise
movies-
came through a temporal anomaly, of course you're going to spell it out.
Well, like in the movies, I feel like he says Enterprise-E. Maybe I'm making that up, but
They do. I think they say it more like because they're talking about because the new ship. They're talking about the difference.
yeah.
And I also
Yeah.
wanted to talk about, because they name drop Jellicoe. Wait,
Yeah.
not Jellicoe.
Well, we've
Was it
seen him
Jellicoe?
before. Yeah, Admiral Jellicoe, because we've seen him. We saw him in season 1.
Because he was, for some reason, upset about the rule breaking
He's always upset.
ship. Well, I was just confused how they got a cloak on the thing, which is not a big deal. This is
Yeah, they
happened in
don't
Star
really
Trek
per
before.
se explain it, other than saying that they shouldn't have it, but they also do have it, and so, well, you know.
So is Janeway going rogue, or is she just using her position? Like, it wasn't clear to me if like this was sanctioned, or if she was like, I might do just in case, sort of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of skirting the line where she's like, "This is the mission," but I'm losing support quickly, so I have to do it really fast. But yeah, I did like that way of the story where she brings the kids into her confidence, and then they are the ones that actually do it. And yeah, it's like not the right time, which creates more drama and all of that. But I like that where it's. I mean, this has happened with Catherine before, where other members of her crew have done things that way she is not directly doing them, and it's kind of shielding her a little bit, and that kind of makes sense. So,
Do you think she's going to? No, I'm not gonna.
So some reason when they go to that ship in hidden Shuttle Bay 3, there's 5 seats exactly suited for who knows why it's kind of a little on the nose.
Also, by the way, Voyager-A has like 23 holodecks and like 50 million labs, but only 2 shuttle bays. I mean, come on, guys.
Yep.
I mean, the Enterprise D only had 3 shuttle bays.
Well, one took up half the ship.
Yeah.
But also, you can't hide a shuttle bay. Like,
Well, clearly
you can't
can.
do that.
Well, they did.
There's windows. Like, how do you hide
Well,
a shuttle
it was a cargo bay that held shuttles. Is basically what it was. Like it opened on the side.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it's
cargo
still,
bays are just another name for shuttles. Are just really big, are just really small shuttle bays.
I mean, the kind of cargo bays are just bigger shuttle
What you
bays.
need to make a cargo bay a shuttle bay? A shuttle.
Yep, that's right.
Literally
That's right.
all you got to do.
What if there's cargo inside the shuttle?
They're like, this is a cargo bay. No, this is an arboretum. I put plants in here. Instant arboretum.
It's like how Air Force One is only Air Force One if the president is on it,
Right.
Or any airplane the
A
president
shuttle bay is only
Air
a shuttle
Force
bay
One.
if shuttles are in it.
Yeah.
So who do we think is in the bubble? Or the bubble voice? Do we think
I thought it was
that is
Chakotay. I thought
I thought it was
That's what I was
Chakotay
thinking.
too, but then again, it's Yeah, we're getting all timey-wimey right now, which is weird because
They actually do
obviously
say
that message
timey-wimey.
hasn't been sent.
They did say timey-wimey. That's
Yeah,
right.
they
Yep,
did.
yeah. I was waiting for it to
it
say
did
Catherine,
kind of sound like Chakotay.
but they just said Janeway, so I'm thinking
Yeah.
it could be Janeway. It could be her.
I mean, I
Well,
thought
but,
it was definitely. I mean, in my mind, I don't know. I've only seen 3 episodes. In my mind, it was someone we know or friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
Somehow
Yes.
has
It's
managed
not
to
an,
get
it's not
the
an
text.
unknown person.
Yeah.
We just don't know who it is yet.
or how they did it, basically. Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
Cat's
I
out
guess
of
we'll
the
find out.
Yeah.
I did also like in that moment where they're like, we don't know what that is. Like, is it a ship? Is it a probe? Is it like they're like clean up the transmission? Like that is the like it was like it's very rare in modern Trek where things happen and we don't understand it. Like usually we get it really quickly.
It's some kind of a. But yeah,
It's
going
Daniels. That's what it is.
because going back to the plot just for a second. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm going to hand wave because if you think about anything too much, it doesn't make sense. But it just seemed like Janeway had all the equipment to do this Chakotay rescue, but Starfleet was still thinking about it, and they're halfway to the anomaly. Like, we'll let you know what we decided when you get there. I'm like, when you like, come on, guys, you think about this stuff before you get there. But anyway, I guess maybe it was because the clock was ticking. That's the only excuse I could have. The clock was ticking about. Syncing up the time. So we're just going to do it on the fly and we'll make the decision when we get there because there's no other way to do this.
But there's no clock for the Voyager crew, right? They just couldn't do anything before this point, but they can do anything afterwards and be fine, right? That's the idea.
But I think they also don't want Chakotay to be just waiting there forever.
Well, sure, right. Yeah.
Well, and I'm also a little confused because it did seem like a predestination paradox where they were meant to be there and help them escape. But then because that gun was there, so then it's like, no, but they weren't meant to be there because that was a change. So I mean, we all knew it wasn't going to go well. Like they're all like, yay, it's about to happen. I'm like, yeah, okay. We've watched enough Star Trek to know that's not going to happen.
But I do think that is why I enjoy Prodigy because it is not straightforward. Because I watching episode 3, I guess is what this was, episode 3, and then like once they get there and they're like, once you see they're going to be in prison with Chakotay, you're like, oh, predestination paradox or causality loop. They're there to help them, and we all know it. And so that happens. You're like, yeah, and then that happens. And you're like, oh, wait, what? We've messed up the timeline.
I did like the name drops where they're like, this happened before, like the Bell riots and the
Borg incursion,
the
Cochrane,
the Borg incursion, Cochrane flight. And I'm like, yes, those are 2 great examples.
Well, yeah, because that's what's going to happen, right? Like they're sort of playing with those tropes now. Like we were thinking when they get trapped with Chakotay, we're like, oh, predestination. That's what this is. It's still going to be that. It's just going to. There's going to be a longer setup.
Right.
For that.
They have to find another way to go back, again,
exactly.
to stop themselms.
They're
It's Back to the Future 2, not Back to the Future 1.
Exactly.
Because
Back to the Future is bullshit. What?
Because I can still figure like, oh, they somehow. I was watching episode 3, which again, I mean, did not turn out how I thought. So it was a surprise. But I thought like, oh, you just go get on the Protostar, and everyone leaves, and then they somehow have an adventure in between. And then after that, they then send the Protostar to, I forget the name of the planet, even though they said it 5 times, so I've still forgotten it, to Talk Lamora, whatever it's called. Some Lamora.
Yeah, Talk Lamora, yeah.
Something. But yeah, that's not. And then, I don't know if you want to talk the Gwen stuff yet, but that one was like, I mean, the bad guy won. That was okay.
Oh, the girl bad guy? Yeah,
it's always
temporarily.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I did... I had to laugh. And again, it's a trope. Like anytime, because I'm trying to think, like, what's the Earth equivalent? I'm sure there is, but it's like the Vulcans. It's the Andorian. It's anytime. It's always like, oh, well, then there's the ancient right of blah blah blah.
Right,
that you can challenge someone
in millennia
every time.
But for some reason, that law is still on the books. I don't know why, but sure.
So, and refresh my memory, because again, this is like the fuzziest part for me, but the Civil War that she's trying to prevent is decades away, right? Isn't it like a long
52 years?
Well, it takes place, I mean, it is 52 years in the future, but that's just the aftermath.
Yeah.
So we don't know when the war starts,
right?
At least yet.
But I for some reason, I was like, oh, she's got time. Like, even if she fails right this second.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
I also love the fact, and this made me laugh out loud. Now, I don't know how else you do this, but she beams down to the planet, and she starts talking to 3 random people on the street. She's like, I am Gwyn. I will save you from your, whatever, the woes of the Civil War upcoming. And I'm like, people are going to think you're crazy. Nobody knows who you are. You can't
This
just
is
come
why
down
we
like
do
that.
duck blind missions for like a year before. We don't just beam down.
I mean, like, the thing that, and like, one thing is you have to remember, or I have to remember, like, when she is a teenager too, even though she's probably the most mature of the group. But the fact, like, oh yeah, no, I read whatever Picard's First Contact back and forth 15 times. So, like, does it say beam into the middle of a mall?
yeah.
Like, I would like wait to like the White House or with their equivalent. That's where you beam to,
Or
and not
broadcast on all screens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's just
somehow
like-
put yourself out
I think
there.
one of the best first contacts we've seen is the one they had in Strange New Worlds, where like he eventually like brought the Enterprise down and is like, here's my big stick, and it's like you lose. But I really like that I need to watch that again. That was a fun one.
Because I also felt like, and again, she's a kid. I get that. But like she gave her speech to the government people, whatever, the weird people who cover their eyes.
I feel like I'm playing Final Fantasy something.
I know.
like, with these.
And she's like, da 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 da. And then like she gets thrown a loop when a bad girl shows up. And then she's like, I got nothing.
Yeah,
I'm all
I just had the speech and that.
beat me out.
But she okay. So her magic metal stick could only touch the dad's magic. Like, what was that about?
It was showing that it's the same. It like when it goes into a neutral
Heirloom.
state, the heirloom, it makes a shape, and her dad's made the exact same shape. So it's kind of showing that this is the same thing.
But everybody has one.
Yes.
No, right. But if so, let's say Bad Girl's heirloom made its resting state, it would be a different shape than hers because it's a different. There's only one.
But Daniel's just saying
Can't
everyone
make it a
has
different
one.
shape.
No, you can, but it's think of it as like
The resting shape.
I don't like all these rules.
yeah. No, I mean that's
And you can make as many as you want. Like, okay, that's crazy, but
Right.
okay.
Daniel,
What
there's
is
only
this
one wand
technology?
that is meant
Think-
for you, and so
think of it as
the
like a
heirloom
signature.
chooses the person.
Yeah, like the heirloom has a signature, and it basically it showed that, oh, you are my father because you gave me this, and this is the exact same.
Surely there is counterfeit metal things
No,
on
jeez,
that.
making it so difficult, Daniel.
They're made of the same cores. Now, if the same
Yeah.
cores hit each other, then what happened?
I guess I just don't like. It's fine. I get it, and I understand there was a shortcut for her father to accept her, so we don't actually have to like do
Psychic paper,
right? Whatever, exactly, whatever it is. That's fine.
Yeah.
When they use it for combat and stuff, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, man. Like,
I
you
did
can just
think that-
throw as many as you want.
Yeah, I did think that was cool. Well, because I think they lost theirs, but then when they went to the cave or whatever you want to call it of magic heirlooms, where all the wands are created. But that
Which I just thought was weird. It's like, then why did you leave yours up top when you literally have an unlimited supply down here? Why?
well, you had to figure it out. It was a
leave yours?
mental thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't hers broken too? Like, didn't hers break last season, or am I misremembering something?
No, I don't think it.
Okay, all right.
Or if it did, it was healed.
It was fixed. Wizard did it.
Yep, okay.
So yeah.
Well, her dad's a wizard. Her dad's a clock wizard
Yes.
or something. I'm not sure what he is.
But I did think that was a cool fight scene. Again, kid show, but I did think that was a cool fight scene of again, you can imagine anything. Though I was waiting for them to do something more creative than just, sticks. Because I mean, that's all it's like, you can create anything with heirloom, like stick, pike. And I was like, okay. I have 50 pikes I've made. I was like, okay, you can do different shape people. I mean, shield. So shield or pike. Those are your choices. But yeah.
So she's a Green Lantern.
I mean, yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see what else we could talk about. Chakotay's first officer, if you guys want to. Let's talk about Chakotay though, because
You mean that bird brain? I don't want to talk about it.
But we do get to see Chakotay for the first time since Endgame, and he's he's a little grayer, but he's a captain, and we did see him obviously a little bit.
We did see some flashbacks in season 1, but still, yeah.
But he actually interacts with our characters.
Mm-hmm.
He's still the same old chummy Chakotay. I don't know. Were you guys happy to see him, or were you happy to see some more of him, like as an actual character of the season, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because it's I think it's safe to say not the perhaps most dynamic character in Voyager, and so this is a redemption opportunity. So we'll see if they do it. Obviously, there's only so much in episode we've seen so far, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I hope they do more with him.
Is he just captain of the Protostar? Because if that's the case, he just has the one dude, right? It's just him and Bird Guy.
I'm trying to remember what. I feel like he had a bigger crew. I mean, like the Protostar's not big, but it's more than
you
two
could
people.
Fit like, a dozen people or something.
Did they all get killed? Kid show.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else? There's a couple of other things I'm sure we can touch on.
We have a new character. Her name, I had to look at Majel, because Majel. But that's the Vulcan. So.
Oh, okay, that's her name. Okay, I like her.
Majel. There, some cute way of saying it, but it's Majel. Yeah. Though I don't know. I mean, I get why, but like, does Nova Squadron always have to be, the rich kids from the rich school? You know what I'm saying? Like, can't they just be cool?
I was going to say just because that they are, obviously, our characters have to have a foil, but also the fact that like the first officer, Janeway's first officer,
David Deeks,
when he calls them civilians. On the bridge. He's
technically, they are. They're in high school.
Well, I did look at somewhere on Wikipedia. It showed that they were warrant officers, so like a non-commissioned, I guess. Like
a O'Brien type of thing. Is that what that's?
No, it's different.
He was a petty officer. That's different.
Yeah, I mean, without getting it, it's a type of officer that's not a commissioned officer.
Now, who's in charge? These kids, or if they're in the same room, is it these kids or Wesley? Who's in charge now?
What rank is Wesley?
Rainbow shirt Wesley.
Yes. Who? He's an acting ensign, so that's commissioned officer. So.
All right, okay. Sorry, kids, you are the bottom of the barrel. I don't think there's anything less than that. That guy at the bottom of Voyager, he's the only people they could tell what to do.
But yeah, I am what do you guys think is the mystery of Janeway? Because, or at least from the kids' perspective, because the kids' perspective is, we were asked to come on Voyager-A and then assigned to be lower decks. But it was like, well, then why ask us?
Decks.
Did you really need us? Or like, because I mean, and then Janeway is blowing them off. Now I get like we can say like, oh, well, because look, she's a real captain or admiral and with duties. But I mean, like, I think we're all waiting for the penny to drop of like, Janeway does have a mission for the kids, because like I thought it was going to be like, oh, she knew they would figure it out, or. But it's like, why did she bring kids aboard?
It is kind of strange. Yeah, it's kind of like, why did you bring? And
why is she blowing them off?
Them here.
I don't think she was blowing them off. I like legitimately don't think she was. I think Dahl got impatient, and it was like, she can't hold your hand the whole time, dude. Like she's doing things.
I think you're right. I don't feel like once she sat them down and spelled out the mission, I'm like, okay, she's not hiding anything.
Like they discovered it. That's why.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's a classified mission. They have no right to know. They're not entitled to that information. She said, I need these kids because obviously they have like geographical knowledge, I would guess. Like they have like knowledge of the situation and like of the politics and all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm thinking. She just had them on as extras.
But it does make sense though, because they know the protostar, they know the planet involved. They are wrapped up in all of this, so why not have them on board rather than a comms call away?
But I think she never sat them down and said, "This is why you're on board." Because I
that's
need
true.
You.
It was a little backwards, where it's like
the doctor was doing all the work. Like here,
but the doctor didn't tell him anything. Well, no, but I mean,
they're not entitled to that information.
They're entitled to know why Janeway wants them on the ship. At least a basic reason.
Here's the thing: she could have. Here's what I think. I think because she's clearly not sure if she's going to intervene at all. Like she was like, she's made it clear, like even when they called her on the bridge and she's like, I don't know, we're not going to launch anything at this thing. We're not doing that right now. Like, I don't think she's committed even herself to her in her head. She's not committed to actually doing anything at this point. I think that's why. They're there if she does decide to do it. If she decides to pull the trigger and say, I'll sort of try to save Chakotay. They're there to provide any sort of intel or whatever. I don't think the kids Oh, I think they're just there because in case Janeway needs them. They're like, break glass in need of an emergency. And I don't think they have the right to know. And the fact that they stumbled onto the ship and then out the airlock into the anomaly.
This is Dumbledore behavior. Harry doesn't need to know what's going on.
That's very different.
And what happened in 5 books for that, Daniel? Come on now.
That's very different.
I did like how they found the ship because the Doctor misspoke about Shuttle Bay 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it feels like something the Doctor shouldn't accidentally do, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, the Doctor of all the characters, right?
Right.
She says he's not a good actor.
It's like Data making a slip of the tongue. It's like, he would just tell his brain, don't ever talk about this classified thing.
Well, to be fair, Data couldn't even not say contractions.
Well, that's true. I was going to say, the one, it's not annoying per se. It's just and I get it moves the plot, but I'm like, guys, shut up with your hallway talk. You guys talk about the most inappropriate things.
When Major comes along, what secret mission? You're like,
I know. And I'm like, you kind of deserve that, Del. You kind of deserve that because you won't stop yapping.
Or they're on the ceiling of the shuttle bay talking loudly and
and Zero's like, hey guys, shut up.
To be fair, those
to be caught?
corridors are massive. So I feel like sound would carry a really long way. We also got the Doctor explaining how turbolifts work. And we got to see some sideways momentum from a turbolift, which we have not actually seen.
Yeah, I did like the...
they were much smaller than I thought, those turbolifts.
Well, but
the interior.
That's a really big ship.
It's going to be huge and...
Yeah,
like a big old empty void. Anyways, okay, so we've been yapping for quite a while. Let's just do closing thoughts. I know we'll probably maybe even by next week, but I'm not sure. But in the near future, we'll probably all finish the season and we'll talk about it again
in your future.
That's right. But
time what do you think? 52 years into the future.
time sinks 7 days into the future. We'll talk about it again. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to the rest of the season and hope to see some more Prodigy or what?
Yeah, I'm excited. I like the fact that I roughly know where it's going, but I don't know how it's going to get there. I mean, we still have 16 episodes left. There's a lot that can cover. There's a lot of forward and back. I'm kind of glad there's no mid-season break, so the story's just going to keep going. It's not like it's going to wrap up sort of, but then not, mid after 10 episodes. But yeah, I've read a couple things on some of the other characters that are going to show up, which I won't say for spoilers, but yeah, I'm really excited. I like Prodigy. Like I said, I kind of need to go rewatch the last 5 episodes of season 1 to kind of remember where everything was. But honestly, you kind of don't need to. If you've never seen, season 1, you could kind of jump in here. You wouldn't know all the backstory, but you wouldn't really miss who these characters are. I don't think, having just watched these 3 episodes, which that's a testament to their storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm getting in trouble with myself if I say this too much. I think it remains my favorite 21st century series. Let me know where Strange New World. Yeah, it is. No, it is. I mean, I think dynamically at the whole. Because Strange New World's only had 2 seasons. I mean, this has only had season 1, so both are still youngish shows. But yeah, I mean, I think having rewatched Prodigy season 1 a couple months ago, I mean, it's other than, and I think it's every series does this, other than the end game at the end of every series has to be the galaxy, the fleet, the CGI is always the same. So I hope that doesn't happen this season. But it's like everything before that. It's always been very good and dynamic, and you can never predict, I think, where things are going to go. I don't know if there's going to be sort of a beat, even though all 20 episodes are out. I don't know if there's going to be a half season beat and then a second season kind of beat. But yeah, no, I'm looking.
Well, they have to. Well, how else would they know when for Murph to evolve?
Exactly. Ooh, so this is not his final form, is what you're saying, Daniel.
Yes, exactly. Well, he's got security.
I do see in Wikipedia it does kind of have a part 1 and part 2 of 10 and 10. So I think there will be kind of a bit of a bit of a mid-season pause, but we don't have to wait.
Yeah, I don't know, what are you going to do? Like, when I was Googling Majel, or the Vulcan character, I saw something and quickly didn't. But I think everything's now out there, and I think everything's been updated to reflect all of season 2, which I kind of hate. So, like, you got to watch where you...
Oh, yeah.
If you want to avoid anything...
I kind of came across that with, again, on Wikipedia, where, like I said, I know a couple characters that are going to show up because they're listed under characters in this show, and I know I haven't seen them yet, so they're coming soon.
Because, like, even
Captain Ransom coming back.
My YouTube algorithm already had, like, here's Janeway's personal log from episode 20. I'm like, no, stop it.
Like, I don't need that.
Stop it.
The Voyager B will sail into the sky. Oh, no.
So, but yeah, I am interested to, because now that they've had all these timey-wimeys, now you really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And to talk to you, just to briefly mention, you mentioned about the scope of it, Philip, where like it's like, at the end of these seasons sometimes can be like, oh my goodness, the entire galaxy is at stake. Well, with right now how the stakes are set up, with it's just this timeline or just this one event, I hope it doesn't go too, or even just this one planet with the Civil War stuff. That's still a big step back from those humongous space battle where we have to save the whole universe from the red thing or whatever, that sort of stuff. So I hope they kind of keep it a little bit more contained. The first season wasn't really that big of a deal either, except for the fact that somehow the protostar could destroy the entire Federation or whatever it was. But we mostly avoided that because it was just the kids going around.
Well, it was more the virus, I think, that was going to destroy. It wasn't like that one ship was going to start. It's not the scimitar.
But the kids show does keep the safeties on, because in that final 2-parter, like, that fleet should have been dead within 30 minutes. Like,
oh yeah.
They were just going to fire each other for like 5 hours and nothing happened. And okay.
Oh, and we also got to see cetacean ops again.
Yeah, that's true. With whales, like big whales, not just dolphins, but full on humpbacks. That's why Voyager-A has to be so big.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
If that's the reason, I'm fine with it.
Is it 10% citation crew? Is that what you think it is?
That's right.
Man, imagine 10% of that, like, internal crew volume. Like, that's a huge section.
Cool. All right. Well,
we're listening to port. Why? Ensign Flipper is swimming in counterclockwise around deck 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is all water.
Which is weird because they're supposed to be the navigational.
Yeah, you think they'd know better, right? But I'm sure that is definitely not the last you're going to hear from us about Prodigy, and hopefully not the last Prodigy that we'll be able to talk about. Fingers crossed, right? With hopefully it finds all the success it needs on Netflix, but we'll definitely be talking about that in the future. So, Philip, if people wanted to get a hold of you and find out who your favorite cetacean is, how they can find you?
They can read the book on Temporal Mechanics 101 and find me on CAPTSFUFP.
And Darren, if people wanted to find out what your signature metal beam that comes out of your arm is, how would they find you?
It's called an heirloom. They've only said it a couple times. But yes, they can find my heirloom signature at drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And they can find me at What I'm Dan. That's the number one, not the word as in Prodigy is the number one best computer animated Star Trek show. And you heard it here first. That's it for this week. I'll catch you next week. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gelfus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.